Right, so this is us back.
Yep.
We have baked our scones and we have been fed, so thank you, Mr. M. And as people will notice, there is no backdrop today. There is no Mother Murphy's tea room.
It's alright, you've got me.
Because we're getting ready, we're just having it repainted, so I've been taking everything down, which has involved actually removing some plaster as well. Yeah. So that's just a tape. What was it called? Nanotape.
Nanotape.
Nanotape. Don't use it. Don't use it. Because when you take your pictures down, it takes the plaster off as well. So our front room now needs replastering as well as painting. Yeah. But we have, I see you have gone for your scone. You have gone for your blueberry one.
We were discussing this when you were absent.
So you see, I'd quite like to have a cherry one, but I do think I feel obliged.
Oh, I feel obliged to take one of each.
I want it half and half.
What?
To taste. Are you going to eat 2 scones, are you?
Is that like sharing chocolate?
Sharing chocolate doesn't happen, does it?
No, it's not. I'm going to go nice and light.
They're lighter than I expected them to be.
Well, yes.
You're not half it. No.
No.
You don't do that with it.
No, that's bread. That's bread. But they are lovely and light. So these are Colin's.
And the fruit is evenly distributed from top to bottom.
It is.
It hasn't fallen to the bottom.
I knew it wouldn't fall to the
How
bottom.
do you know? Do you open the
Oh, I just looked at
As you can see.
No sign of any fruit
Look
yet. And there's fruit
at that.
at the top.
I'm just going to go close up to the camera and show them what happens to the blueberries when they are cut. Look at that. That is why blueberries should always go in scones. Yeah. So, because Colin's from Cornwall, we have Cornish clotted cream, but we have been in trouble because we've got the wrong sort. Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say you're in trouble.
Yeah.
It's a different brand.
So, but we have homemade wild berry jelly.
There's no label on that. How do you know what's in it? Well, it's on the other side.
Yes.
But why have you got the label on the back?
Well, it's now on the front.
That's the front.
Oh, it's the front now. So it is.
Yeah. But this is homemade. This is made with the stuff that Minnie.
I was just saying to my
Yes.
friend here that this actually doesn't warrant having jam on it. There's that fruit in it.
I know.
So I'm just going to put a dollop of cream in this.
Carry on. Carry on. Take some of this.
So there would be the
special.
debate.
This is rose hips.
Do we put?
And blueberries and...
Well, the debate has been answered already because you've already got the jam on it.
Yeah. Because how do you put cream on first and then put jam on? Because you can't spread it.
No.
You know.
I mean, do they put it on and use it like butter?
I don't know.
You don't want that.
I don't know.
It's okay. This looks pretty good. The cream.
So.
I remember my mother once showed me how to make clotted cream. And
Am I the only one that's put
takes
the-
forever. It's called scalding.
Yes.
Now you'll probably know what that means. All I know was that she sat with the cream off the top of the milk in a dish
So excuse me
over a
eating
bowl
on camera.
of boiling, simmering water. And it just seemed to take forever. Well, do I pass the test? Let's ask her what she's got a mouthful. She can't say no.
That is scrummy. That really is. Might have to take another bite now.
It's been nice to know that your viewers enjoy watching people stuffing their faces with food.
That's the bit that gets cut out.
You'd be wanting to make them again, Colin.
Oh, God. Oh my word.
Are they good? You made those. First time making scones.
I just thought of a downside to this.
Yeah, you're going to have to make them at home now.
To put me in charge of the baking. Well, I've got to remember, I'll need to keep the video. I remember what to put in where.
Yeah.
But there was no amount
the recipes in the book. Mm-hmm.
in the magical Tearoom.
In the magical.
I read that because I brought the book anyway.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the book has got actually all versions of scones, lots of versions of scones, and it's got the wheat ones and it's got the gluten-free ones in it as well. So, yeah. So are you impressed?
I am indeed.
Mm. What's your version, Mr. M? He's the best person.
Very nice.
You got a very nice.
Well, I would tell you if they were rubbish.
Mm. To get a very nice off him is like, they are amazing.
The thing about scones,
Do I get a badge?
Yeah.
Rosette.
the thing about scones is that when they're always best when they're just made, aren't they?
Mm,
You know,
they are.
They're just fresh.
Yeah. You're impressed with your first attempts at making scones.
Well, I've impressed myself.
Mm. And what you can't see is that we have demolished a whole load of them. We have gone through. So I mean, we had to
Oh
try.
yeah, so
both,
try one
didn't
of
we?
each.
Yeah. So
Yes, otherwise you can't get a good comparison.
yes, yeah. And Mr. M gave a very nice, which means they were excellent.
But you've got to remember, I like scones and bread rather than cakes. So.
And I like scones.
And I hate coming out into a cafe or a tea room. Do you want your scone hot? And I'll say, no, just give me a scone off your tray there. And they'll look at me astounded, because 9 times out of 10 it's a scone for the day before and they want to heat it up so that it doesn't. You
We
don't
were just chatting about that.
Yeah.
Because you quite like a warm scone, don't you?
If it's more the day,
Yes.
if it's the next day, because I find that the texture is like in sweet cakes.
Yes.
The texture starts to shrink and dry, but if you pop it into the microwave for about 5-10 seconds, it just lifts it up and
Yeah.
And I don't like soft scone.
So for people that don't know, you can actually get the recipe for these fabulous scones in my cookbook, where there's a whole load of them. But we're here talking about you. So we have your 3 books. We've got so Every Picture Tells, that came
that was
first.
the first one, yeah.
Yeah, and I think we can see those. Maybe I've missed them off. So Every Picture Tells, that was the first one that you told us about, and then it was Of Sadness and Joy, which is that one, and we spoke about that one on the video, did we?
Yes.
Yep.
Briefly.
And then the one that came last is A Sky of Bubbles.
Yes.
For which I came to your book launch at the military. Yeah.
That was a good night.
Yeah. So, which do you think is your favourite? Do you have a favourite?
I don't know.
Which is your favourite child?
Each book has got merits of its own. I mean, Every Picture Tells was the first time I'd ever put myself into print.
Yeah.
I've been writing poetry, obviously never thinking one day somebody will put this into print and buy books. A Sky of Bubbles is latest. I don't think I've got a favourite. I like them all, and the feedback I've had from all of them has been the same, that people do like what I've written, and that they like the variety that's in there, whether it's the conflict stuff, which started me off, or whether it's the humorous side of stuff. Yeah, people have always given me good solid feedback.
Yeah. So, although you haven't got a favourite book, have you got a favourite poem that you've written?
There's one that I always refer to as being a piece of inspiration. I had no idea where it was coming from. I had no idea where the poem was going. And it was just walking through Livingston, which is maybe not the most inspiring place, but I saw a stain on the floor. And it looked like somebody'd spilt their iron brew, this orange stain.
Okay.
And I looked at it and I thought, where does that come from? And I followed a trail.
Well, don't
all
tell
the way
us.
back.
Don't tell us, because you once told me that poetry is not designed to be read; it's designed to be listened to.
Yes.
So, are you going to read that? Is it in one of these books?
Yes, it's in one of these books.
Which one is it
I
in?
think it's in this one. Dereliction. Rusting pipes on derelict walls, drips which echo in empty halls. Flaking, rotten window frame, things will never be the same. Crumbling stone neath roofless gables, here neglect has turned the tables, turned this edifice once grand to a blight upon the land. Below the stone with crest and name, there is no oak door within its frame. Coloured flagstones, faded, cracked, show the force of nature's act. Oaken panels which line the walls have vanished, gone to other halls. Gaping fire like cavern door, mantles splashed across the floor. Rotting timber letting nature give a home for living creature, as in death there is yet life midst this scene of morbid strife. Where those elegant days of yore, when ladies danced on ballroom floor, servants proffered best champagne? How I crave those days again. Time was I wandered through these empty rooms, which now are chilled like empty tombs, windows framed with heavy drape. Now like soulless eyes they gape across a wilderness once known as landscape fields where trees had grown, workers tending all that grew in the gardens that I knew. Imagination takes my mind to hear and smell and see the kind of great joy once common here. Sadness now invokes a tear. These naked walls where creepers live have given all they have to give. Ornate ceilings all destroyed. Nature has her might employed. I hear the swish of silken gowns, rainbow colours, blacks and browns, men dressed in their finery, fruits of foreign winery. Music dancing on harpsichord delights the ear of host and lord, powdered wigs and sparkling stones, whispered words in undertones. Marble staircase to upper floors has gone the same way as the doors. Rooms are now exposed to sky as they too prepare to die. The heart of this fine house is gone, and only I must linger on, in the place I met my death, where I breathed my final breath.
Very good.
Oh, thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
Powerful stuff.
Yeah. Powerful stuff. Yeah.
And like I said, I had no idea where that was going.
Yeah.
It's all from a stain on the pavement.
Yeah. Strange how, how
Mhm.
things happen. Yeah.
You see all even emotion in now reading it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
What does
all,
it mean to you?
because it took me from that flagstone in Livingston. I ended up at a place called Bangor Village, which has been a derelict village for decades. It's fallen into complete disrepair. And because I'd been there, I'd seen the buildings, and I think this poem actually transported me there, and that's how I was able to describe the dereliction of all the different rooms. And suddenly, I had no idea who was writing this poem,
Yeah.
and the ghost just suddenly appeared.
Yeah.
Time was I used to walk these halls, and I thought, oh, right, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I've never. You've certainly introduced me into liking poetry, and I also have another author friend now who, if Ruth's listening, has also introduced me to poetry as well. I don't think it's anything that I could write, but I can now appreciate.
Mhm.
But I do take on what you've said in that. Actually, I prefer to hear it.
yes.
Yeah, and I mean, when I came to your book launch for the A Sky of Bubbles, to listen to you reading them all out was just, I mean, that room was just charged with emotion
Yeah,
from
yeah.
everybody that was there. So, especially because your twin sister turned up that you didn't know about from Cornwall, isn't
Yes.
it? Yes, yeah. But I have a request. There was a poem in that one, and Christine said, "Oh, it's for you." It was the I can't remember. I don't know where my glasses are now, and it was about. But you read it out.
Is it a funny one?
it was more about Yorkshire or reading this out.
See the picture?
His book launch.
Oh, she's right.
Is this coming into your next book then?
Yes, it
Your
will be
next
in the next
poetry
book.
Okay.
Them were days. I remember that ill. Cobbled oak way down and push it back in winter's chill with bread in bags of brown. Often folks with pity look at me in pouring rain, slipping every step I took and sliding down again. Other times they'd line that road to see how far I'd get before my legs, so knackered, slowed and dumped me in the wet. I mind a day 'twere chucking down. Hill was like a river, so bloody wet I thought I'd drown, but bread I'd to deliver. Soaked right through, I lost me grip on slippery cobblestones. Down I went upon me hip, I thought I'd break me bones. Bike went skiting down that hill, those front baskets spewed. I shot down that bloody hill, lost all me altitude. Ripped a great hole in me breeks, I scraped both of my knees. Tears are running down me cheeks, cap flew off in breeze. Landed at baker's door, I thought I should be dead. He picked me up from sodden floor, as he delivered bread.
Very good. Very good. Yeah. Yeah. Of course, it would sound better with a Yorkshire accent. Just saying.
You write it then.
Just saying. Oh no. But it's read in the Yorkshire accent.
You could have done it in the Cornish accent. You wouldn't
Yeah.
have understood a
Oh
word.
no, I know. But yeah, very good. Very
Yeah.
good. Yeah. But you mentioned wood turning
Yes.
as well.
Yeah.
So these are a couple of things. I'm just going to get up and take these to the camera. So tell us about this one, Colin.
And another person at the club did a lot of projects some years ago and abandoned them and asked if I would like to try and fix them or do something with them. This is a piece of yew that had been turned, but the line across the middle that you saw in the bottom there was a lot deeper than that, and it was fractured and broken and what they call pithy, not really suitable for turning. So I took it down and down and down until I came across a solid part at the bottom and then polished it up from there. And this one was a bit of a disaster in a way. It was just to practice a few bits and pieces. Again, a piece of yew, which is a lovely wood.
It
Always
just
polishes up
feels
well.
so
Yeah.
nice. Yeah. I just, yeah.
It's just unfortunate that I wasn't aware of the hole in the bottom, but
Yeah.
I can always take a little piece out of that and insert a coin.
And then Colin bought me a gift today, which he has made. There we go, for ladling out the honey. Yeah, how cool is that? And that is made with
Beech.
beech.
Beech, because it's an antiseptic wood, you don't need to polish it and you just wash it off.
Yeah.
Beech is used a lot in cookery for wooden utensils.
Yes. Yeah. So fabulous. Fabulous. And not content with poetry books and wood turning, you're now writing a novel.
Apparently, I'm still writing a novel, maybe we should say. It started about 3 years ago.
Has it got a title now?
It's got a working title.
Okay, what's
It's
the working
Penhole,
title?
which is the surname of the protagonist, the main character. I'd been reading some poetry to the writers group I belong to when somebody said that my poems are like little short stories. Why don't you think of writing a longer one, like a novel? And I didn't know whether they were sick and fed up with the poetry and trying to get them on to something else. So I started writing this, and it's set in mid-19th century Cornwall. I had no idea where I was starting, but the group, I must say, had given me so much support, pointed this out, pointed that out. You need to explain this a bit more, you could do without that paragraph. And they've guided me through the process. So it's now standing at about 80,000 words. It's taken me 3 years to write that much because of so many other things on. So
Another 3
I'm
years
on
to end.
the homeward straight, I think.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to get it finished this year, but as you know with yours, the first
Yeah.
draft is just the beginning, because
Yes.
then you have to start to edit
That's right. That's right.
and
Yeah.
get it published if you can.
Yeah. Good. Good. And your new poetry book, when's that one coming out? Or is that still very much work in progress?
Well, when it's finished,
Oh, when it's finished.
um,
Yeah.
there's not a lot in it at the moment.
Have you got a name for that?
No,
No.
not yet.
No.
It's very much a work in progress. I think there's only maybe about 10, maybe 15 poems that have been written that aren't published in these. So it's going to take a lot longer to get that one out. Maybe once I finish the novel,
Yeah.
if it goes to print or gets published, then I'll be able to get back to the poetry and get a few more written.
Yeah.
Or inspiration will suddenly come to me. Maybe I should write one about baking in somebody else's house.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the thoughts of sabotage with wet fruit and dried fruit.
Yeah. You see, I didn't sabotage you because they were
Oh, well,
delicious.
no.
And I knew they would be.
The blueberries were from top to bottom.
Yes.
In fact, I do remember somebody saying, "Where's the cherries in this?"
I know.
The whole
I know.
top
I
was
know my
empty.
chat. I could have done with more
I think
cherries in mine.
the cherries must have sunk.
I know. Yeah.
Just needed more
They were tasty though.
They're very tasty.
I must admit, I have learned how to make scones.
Delicious scones. Yes. Yeah.
Right, as long as you remember what you've been taught.
Yeah. That's it. Well, I'll have the
Sorry,
video to
what?
refer
Who are
to.
you? Why am I here?
He'll have the video to refer to.
Well,
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you're cutting your scones out,
Yeah.
Yes, flour.
Yeah.
Stuffy.
So for people who are new to seeing us, the idea of Mother Murphy's Beyond the Tea Room came because we had a tea room, which we had to close because of COVID, and I wrote this book, The Magical Tea Room on the Hill, lots of tales and recipes, adventures, and then I found myself with no tea room, but I still had the fabulous kitchen that we've got here. And I was like, how can I combine the two of, I mean, you're actually one of the few people that's been here that actually went to the tea room. You
Oh,
came
wow.
to the tea room.
I'm honoured.
How would you describe the tea room?
You can't describe it as a tea room. The tea room on the hill was just something special. You felt it as soon as you walked through the door. It was small, it was compact. People who went there for a little bit of solitude suddenly found themselves involved in conversation with other people, particularly the proprietors who never stopped talking.
Me.
It was warm, it was friendly, and to think that the food that was in there was, I think, entirely gluten-free.
Just about,
Yeah.
yeah.
I had tasted gluten-free before because my mother-in-law was gluten intolerant.
Yeah.
And it was, okay, at least said about that the better.
Yeah.
But you come into the tea room and then suddenly these cakes, you would never believe they were gluten-free.
If I remember rightly, this is how sad I am that I can remember things. I think you had the polenta cake and with hot custard.
Yes?
You know,
I have no idea.
yes, yeah, I do believe you did. Those are the things that I can remember. I can't remember people's names or anything, but I can remember what cakes they're like. And
Chris is like you, she would remember exactly what I had that day.
yeah. But it was like, right, what am I going to do? How am I going to continue my enjoyment of baking and eating the cakes? But eating the cakes yourself is not the enjoyment. This is the enjoyment of baking. It's baking and then sharing it with people
food. I mean,
and
that's
chatting.
what we do.
And it was amazing in the tea room how you could see sometimes that somebody would be they'd come in and they'd be a little bit down in the dumps and they'd ask for a coffee or a tea, and I think they need a cake. So I'd make them a coffee or a tea, and I'd put a piece of cake in front of them as well. And they'd be like, well, I didn't order that. Oh no, but I think you need it. And they'd eat the cake, and by the time they've eaten it, and then I've chatted to them a bit, and they were smiling.
Yeah.
And it's that difference that it makes of just sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is why I say you can't describe the tea room on the hill like an ordinary tea room, because you wouldn't get that in another tea room.
No.
Unless you asked for it, you wouldn't get it. And if you did get something, you'd be charged for it, whether you wanted it or not.
Yeah. Yeah, which is why we're not millionaires, but hey ho, that's we are millionaires because of how we
Yeah.
lived. Yeah. Yeah, so this is the next best thing for me of getting people in. It's allowing me to promote my book, it's allowing me to cook, it's allowing me to chat with like-minded people, and allows you to talk about your books as well. So it's kind of a win-win situation. Hopefully we're providing videos that people enjoy watching as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that would be good.
and tips on making things, you know.
Yeah.
Because you won't be the first person that's never made a scone.
No.
You know, years ago, long before I had the tea room, my scones were horrible. My scones were like doorsteps.
I taught you well.
Well done.
Yeah. No, it was actually it was a cafe in Carluke, and it was called the name has gone. The name has gone. But when we ran our training company, we went out and did modern apprenticeships, and I was doing a management award with the chef or the baker in this. Oh gosh, what was that cafe called?
Remember what I had on my plate 10 years
I
ago?
know,
You can't remember
I know.
what the places.
I'm trying to remember the name of the places.
I know, and I was saying to him, I was saying, my scones are horrible, and he says, I'll show you how to make scones. He says, and I'll give you a recipe. And he showed me how he made the scones. I'm like, can't be that easy.
Because we used to get to work with the staff in the kitchen, so that's with hands-on watching what was going on.
And he gave me his recipe, which actually I still have written in a scrap of paper somewhere. And but then I was like, oh gosh, that's an awful lot of baking powder in there. You think I put a lot in there, but the amount he put in, I was like, well, you just put this, and then you put an extra bit in as well. And I was like, I need to cut that baking powder out a little bit. And I was like, will it? But actually, as soon as I started using his recipe and making them the way he did, because I used to pour my milk in slowly, and I was like, oh no, it's not quite
the time for that.
He was like, no, just put it all in. And I was like, that's not going to work. And I watched him, and it looked so sloppy. And I was like, that's not going to come out as a scone. And then the next thing, he's pouring it out on the table, and I'm like, it is. You know, and they were the lightest scones ever.
Because the thing is, in a kitchen, a professional kitchen, you don't have time to do this, that, and the next.
No, you don't.
Get the stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of the times that we would do the mixes.
Yeah. Never scones in the mixer though.
But a lot of the stuff we done, you know.
Yeah. But and that's it. And as soon as
up to me, everything would be in the mixer.
As soon as I had a good recipe and a good method to make them, you put them together, and then you can start tweaking it and making it your own recipe. So that is the idea of Beyond the Tea Room. So if anybody wants to come along and film an episode with us, I've got a few booked. And yeah, so one more thing, I need help, or Florence needs help. Florence, our little border collie, who is somewhere. And I am writing a series of books which are going to be like the Beatrix Potter books, or in that style, and that is kind of how it's looking so far. So there's going to be 23 of these, like in the box set of Beatrix Potter's books, and they are all going to be the tale of Florence and. So I'm going into schools and talking to them about being an author, and asking the children to come up with ideas about where Florence goes, who helps her, what magical creatures come along and help her, and who needs help, and also to design a recipe for the school. So far it's been biscuits, but I think we're going to have a change, and the next few ones I might do maybe a cupcake or a cake or something like that. So that the last book will be just the recipes, but each book will have the story and the recipe. That's that, and the children will know we helped create this book.
That's the question. How many people suggested a unicorn?
Oh, actually, loads of them. So actually, there is a unicorn, but it's not just a unicorn. It's an Arctic unicorn.
An Arctic? I've never seen an Arctic unicorn.
I didn't even know Arctic
not special
unicorns.
No, obviously.
Which it tells you all about in this.
Good.
Yes. So in this one, Florence, I'm not going to tell you the whole story, but Florence ends up going to Buckingham Palace
Oh,
because we have to take the king somewhere.
right.
Mm. And
Okay.
how do we get the king to this special place?
Make friends with one of his corgis.
It's to do with the Arctic unicorn.
I see.
Mm. So this one is coming out. This is in the process of getting approved on the publishing company, and that should be out very, very soon.
Okay.
Yeah. And the next one is Florence and the Dragon.
Oh.
She's an Irish dragon.
An Irish dragon.
An
All
Irish
right.
dragon.
Okay.
An
I
Irish
need to turn
dragon
off the Wales.
called Laura.
Oh.
Yeah. So all these things are what I do is I get all the notes from the children. So
Mhm.
sometimes there are 200 people,
Yeah.
200 children that I've seen over the day, and I have 200 sheets of paper to go through. And on one large bit of paper, when I come home, I write all the important words down.
Yeah.
So my story includes all of the important words,
Mhm.
so that hopefully the children, when I'm reading the book to the children when I eventually go out, one of them will go, that was my idea.
Yeah.
I suggested
I
that.
said that.
I said that.
Mhm.
You know, so there are times when I have to put things into a story that I'm like, this is a little bit over the top.
Yeah.
But it's because I'm trying to include as many of the ideas
Mhm.
as the children. Yeah. So
It'd be such a thrill for the children to hear these.
yes, yes,
And to get feedback from your audience before you've actually written.
yes.
I mean,
I
what
know.
could be better?
I know. So this was from the children at Girvan Primary School. Is this one?
Mhm.
So I'll be having another trip out there as soon as I've got that hard
So
copy.
why don't you just read a little snippet?
I could do it. Size of them actually, because that's my idea. Because Beatrix Potter was my hero when I was growing up, and still is actually, not just for her writing, but for her forward thinking of protecting the Lake District,
Mhm.
buying up all that land and stopping it so that we haven't got high-rise flats and factories all across the Lake District.
And also with stock. She
Yes.
brought up stock as
Yes,
well
yeah,
to make sure that these heritage
that's right.
trees were kept on.
So,
Oh, okay.
so
I'll leave that.
Florence, the black and white border collie, is a very timid dog who fears most things. She is terrified of loud noises, fireworks, wind, rain, and large trees. All true. Yeah. One morning, instead of playing in the park as usual, Florence's human mummy, Deborah, suggested they walk through Tintop Wood near their house. Oh no, please don't make me go there, cried Florence. It's okay, her mummy said. There's nothing to be frightened of. You'll be able to run around and you might even see some deer and squirrels. Bear with me. Florence thought about running around, chasing the deer, even though she knew she would never catch them. Okay, mummy, let's go. As they entered the wood, Florence took a deep breath. She walked in front of her mummy, but she soon had enough courage to run between the trees. She didn't feel scared and quickly realised the wood wasn't frightening, it was a peaceful place to walk through. This is just because it's in rough form. As Florence ran back to Deborah to tell her how happy she was, she stopped suddenly. There was a strange sound, but what was it? Now she wasn't happy anymore. She felt scared again and ran to snuggle up to Deborah. Can you hear that noise, Mummy? It's like somebody's crying. What shall we do? Yeah, so,
What indeed?
right, I know.
Oh, I'm glad you know if you've written it.
I know what happens, yeah.
Memories not faded
Yeah.
that far yet.
But it just shows actually that a small book
Yeah.
has so much editing in it.
Yeah.
You know, you wouldn't believe. You know, it's I think it's about 2,000 words. But the number of times I've read those 2,000 words and
Mhm.
changed them, and the number of times Jim's read
I'm
those
surprised you
2,000
actually had
words.
to pick it up to read it. You could just recite it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's amazing when you'll find the same when you're doing poetry. You think you've written something, and it turns out you've added words on or you've omitted
Mhm,
words,
mhm.
and it's only
Well, it happened to me, and it gave Chris one of the most pleasurable moments of her life. It was having proofread. I think it was of sadness and of joy. Proofread it, I've done this, I've done that, 'cause you get a hard copy, marked in changes, sent it back, that was that. And then it came along, and there was a poem that I had read so many times to various venues that I'd been at doing some of my poetry, and it was all, I think it was called The Favourite Treat. And Chris was reading through it, and she said, "There's a word missing on this line." I said, "Don't be stupid, there can't be a word missing. I've read this poem several times."
Yeah.
Oh my word.
Yeah.
And it is because you know
Yeah.
what you've written,
Uh-huh.
or what you think you've written,
Yeah.
and you read what you expect to be
Yes.
there.
the brain's a funny thing.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
Chris had found that there was a word missing. Now, a word missing is not that much in a novel, but in a poem, it changes
It
the
does.
balance of the
Yes.
whole thing on that one
Yeah.
particular line.
Yeah.
And I thought, how have I got away with this for so long?
I know. I know.
Well, she was delighted to find that she had found this mistake that I had missed.
I know. It's like in that, without giving away the story, but the Arctic unicorn has got her foot trapped in some trees, yeah, and the story says that she has got her back leg caught in the trees. I've had a children's illustrator, Jessica from the Rickety Desk is doing all the fabulous illustrations, very much in the style of Beatrix Potter's, which is just amazing. So my illustrator, under my instructions, has drawn an Arctic unicorn with her front foot caught in the
Oh dear.
roots, and it was only she didn't pick it up. She's read it for me. We've read it loads of times, and it was only last night before I was actually submitting it for it to go for its final proof. And I was like, she hasn't got a backlink caught at all, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, so if anybody's got any schools connections and you want me to come in and you want to be part of this, I'm kind of looking now maybe sort of October onwards, because I've got quite a few before summer, and then we've got the summer holidays, and because it takes a little while to actually write the books, and for Jessica to draw, because I'm telling her draw quicker, you know. Yeah.
Start writing so
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah. So that's it. So, but thank you very much for coming along today.
Thank you for
It's
having
been
me.
an absolute pleasure, and I hope you've enjoyed that.
I have. I've enjoyed the experience of being able to make scones, bake scones, and they say that they actually taste good. And I'm quite proud of what I've done.
Yes.
Under guidance, of course.
Yes. Yeah.
Whether I can replicate that at home would be a different matter.
Yeah. So for people getting in touch with you as to where they can get the books, do they buy the books from you?
Yes, that's the only way to get them at the moment. Contact me through my webpage, which is www.cmpoetry.com.
I'll put that in there.
There's a contact me page on that, and they can get in touch. I get the email, and then I can forward a copy and arrange payment for them at that point.
Okay.
Still collecting for charities, so let's see how many more I can.
So it's all for charity what you do just now.
Yeah, once I hit my get my outlay sorted out, get that done, then profits.
Profits
Yeah.
go to.
If
You've
I'm
got to
going,
cover costs.
if I'm going to a venue, then they will get a percentage of the price of the books that I sell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
So I'm quite available to travel around if people want to, as has happened before, have an evening of poetry, a bit of entertainment, and bring books along and sell them that way as well.
I mean that was great. We had a poetry evening one at the Tearoom, and you came along and did so much so that actually one of the customers, she wrote a poem about the Tearoom,
Which is good.
and actually that one's
That's
in the
in
book.
there.
Yes, yeah. So
And these days I can take switch payments as well.
yes, yeah. So, but I'll put your details in the
Yeah.
in the thing. Now this will go up on YouTube,
Okay.
and then it'll get shared onto Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Instagram shares it, because Instagram,
No, I got rid of my Instagram.
yeah, but it'll go on LinkedIn as well. So
Okay.
yeah, but it'll take me a few days just to do the editing and take out the bit where the blueberries sunk to the bottom.
I have a witness. I have a witness to say they were top, middle, and
No,
bottom.
it didn't. I knew full well they wouldn't sink to the bottom. Yeah, but yeah. So, but yeah, thank you very much.
It's been
Yes,
an absolute
yeah.
pleasure. It really has.